This is the extension of the part 1 of this digital media and society lecture. We were discussing about the opportunities, challenges of the interrelationship between the digital media and the society. Then we have seen the interrelationship in a micro level between the medium and the individual users, pattern and the profile, and mainly we were discussing about the scope for individual users to participate in the sense information sharing, creating an interaction with the medium. Higher the level of interaction, higher level of contribution. So that's how the privacy issue starts there. Privacy issues, particularly how far that information about individual is being collected or shared for over the period of time, identifiable data about an individual. So that's data about the individual and how far that data is being utilized for a specific purpose or going beyond that, how far we are aware about that. So all these are online privacy issues. Particularly the online platform, information about the individual users, the data about the individual users are often collected silently, many times unknowingly. It's casually or consciously we may interact with the multiple news websites, different corporate websites. We may participate in YouTube videos or live streaming or social media exchanges. Now, every level, all our interaction is being continuously monitored and recorded. These all recorded data is about ourselves, but that's happening in the background. And online medium allows large quantities of data to be collected inexpensively. So that's very easiest. It's unlike the television channels or newspapers. They have to use multiple methods like TRP ratings or circulation figures. They have to employ agencies to collect the data about their penetration level, popularity of the programs, all this. Here, a small cookie can be planted in your system or mobile stores for a longer time as long as you're not clearing the memory cache. But the cookie will monitor all your activities, not necessarily for that particular website, but simultaneously if the site is on, then parallelly if you access multiple sites, the informations are collected on all the platforms. The data comes from multiple sources, may be merged. You may be searching some keywords in a search engine, and in the next window or next tab on your browser, you may be accessing some e-commerce websites. Or the third window, you may be reading some news item. And the fourth window may be your Gmail account, Gmail or your any other email account is opened. So in all this platform, one user, you are the only user, you are using the news, you are using the email, you are using the e-commerce site, and you are searching some keywords. Multiple interaction, all the data is being collected from maybe the same group of company or different set of companies. Informations are collected and through the cookies being exchanged with the server. Server collates all the information and stores it there as well as in your cookies. So when next time you come to the same browser, when you go to the e-commerce sites, you might have seen some ad display based on your earlier search keywords. Or in your email account, you might have seen some advertisements based on your email body. Right? Or over the period of your information or choice of news item, the news portal or the aggregator may fine tune a kind of story according to your taste, according to your profile. So that's what's happening based on the monitoring your interaction, based on the data we are providing to that. Right? See, the tracking happens continuously there. Non-identifiable information comes from multiple sources, can become identifiable when merged together. The big data comes from multiple sources and combined together in different categories, it creates a meaningful information about a person. So that's a very valuable information. The data is more economical. So that's what that companies are surviving based on the data. Data collected for business purposes may be used in a civil and criminal proceedings. That's allowed. That's what they're doing. Many times when we are activating some applications or software, we are forced to accept the terms and conditions, whether we are reading or not, but we are accepting to all the terms and conditions. That includes the privacy issues. And many times knowingly or multiple times unknowingly, we share a lot of data through our interaction. This is only through interaction, and information contribution, that's a different way. And users given no meaningful choices. We have very limited choice. And the service providers are dominant groups, capitalist group, multinational agencies. We have very limited options. Few websites gives alternatives of, okay, your data is not tracked. If you have option, disable that option. Or whatever data we have stored about you, you can review that, you can delete that. There are few websites, few multinational agencies, they're giving opportunities for the users to review the data and alter or delete or update the individual informations. So mainly the privacy issues or the data about individuals are collected through cookies. Cookies is a small kind of a small file, and whenever we access a site, automatically it comes to the system and stores in the system for a longer time, as long as we are clearing the system. So that cookie stores all the information. Sometimes if you allow, it stores your password also. So it's convenient for us. No need to remember the password, no need to type the password again, go to the particular site and enter their profile, automatically password comes. Quite easy for us. But remember that your information, your password is being stored somewhere. So that's our information is being, your system only, but the system is connected to the world. How far is being prone to the stealing the information, that's different questions. But remember that that's what the cookie stores. It enables, it's convenient for us. No need to go frequently to all the steps to access the data. That facilitates. But that in the name of facility, in the name of convenience, we are compromising a lot of other information too. The cookies are used to help the websites to understand how people use their websites. And the cookies can be used to profile the users. That's what we were discussing from the beginning in this presentation. And the cookies can track their individual users' activities, particularly across their websites. I was talking about e-commerce, email account, news portal, and search engine. So all the 4 websites may be from the same group or maybe from different groups. But your information is being collected through cookies across the different activities. So that's how the information are retrieved from the users and stored it in the big data, and they merge the data and create a kind of profile. That's how the economy works of multinational online service providers. So that's the cookie. I'll give you a little more brief about a cookie, then we'll go to the privacy issues. Every time the same cookie is being replayed to the website, the site may add information to the record associated with that cookie. Number of times you visit the link, the time and date, what page you visit, what page you visited last, what type of information you're typing in the web form. If it is multiple cookies are replayed together, they are usually logged together, effectively linking their data. And there is a very limited scope for narrow scoped cookie might get logged with a broad scoped, because the cookies start interacting with each other. All these are automated process in order to collected data are being collated in a systematic, in a logical manner to create a kind of meaningful data that can be used by the company for multiple purposes. So this is how the data is being collected. either interaction or our contribution level. So that goes to the companies or service providers or agencies. We will come to the main issues and what are the issues attached with this kind of data gathering and collection, storing and profiling that. Now the data storage is very cheap and it's making data accessible to online for longer period of time. The cookie or your data can stay for a longer period of time, not necessarily that earlier because of the restriction many data is being discarded over the period of time. Now the data stays for a longer period and the data sharing between individual users with the sites or users with the multiple sites, data gathering and sharing among the service provider can be fast and distributed. And the big data plays a major role in this context. The search engines, internet search tools can recognize the images, can recognize facial expressions, sound, voice and movement, and making it easy to track devices and individuals online over the period of time across the occasions and across the locations. And when you are maintaining a kind of online video platform in any social media platform, you are updating the video content. And if you have the ability to access the data analytics, easily you can understand that how many people are accessing and from which locations. Is it from the particular city, particular country, and what set of devices being used to access this video content. Is it a mobile or computing devices? If it is a mobile, is it Android or Apple iOS or different level, or computing means is it a Windows or Mac or Linux or something like that, and also how long you are watching the video and the retention level and your age, your gender, and wide variety of information are being collected there. It's good for the people who are providing the video, but as an individual user it may be useful, but think about that millions and billions of people are interacting with the multiple resources, the data has been collected, that's advertising revenue because you are collecting a huge data about the audience. And sophisticated tools are being developed to link and correlate and aggregate all the data, unrelated data, into the meaningful way. That technology provides that. It's getting easier to identify individuals now, and easily we can create anonymous data about the individuals to make it as identifiable data with the help of new technological tools. There are more and more sensors, tools in devices like computing, mobile devices, which are connected to the internet. It tracks the location, movements, contributions, interaction, and how long we are staying in the site, how frequently we are coming, how frequently we are going to other sites. If you look at the e-commerce sites, if you look at the product, and also they suggest that the people who looked at this site also looked at other sites also. Your interaction is being compared with the others' interaction, right? As long as this is how that online data sharing is being utilized extensively by big companies and also government. So, but in order this is a problematic issue because how much information we need to collect from the individuals, and those information how far it can be used or used for other purposes or beyond the stated purposes. So, there must be some kind of policy framework needed, because here the quantum of data collected from about the individual is going day by day. There must be a kind of framework, policy framework, to limit the data being collected from the individual for multiple purposes. So, policy framework needed. It is very important to encourage the development application of privacy framework that applies an ethical approach to data collection and handling. That's ethically, this is genuinely, this much data can be collected, or the collected data can be used for these kind of purposes, not beyond that. So, that must be put in place, and the framework very much needed in this kind of situation, because the numbers are growing, the number of users are growing. We're talking about India, mobile connectivity, internet connectivity is huge. Think about other countries altogether, the global level. The number of users, the data about the users, massive, big data. And how far that's been, there's a lot of controversy also happening in the political circle and commercial circles, how far the data is being used or misused. You must be aware about all these cases in the recent past. So these are all the matters related to privacy issues, and appropriate policy frameworks is required. The policy frameworks should incorporate the following points, major points, like should be fair enough about the stated policy of the data. Okay, we are collecting the data about you, this is matter. That needs to be stated clearly and transparent manner, that collected data is being utilized for these purposes, not on other purposes. And participation level of different agencies to monitor the data collection tools, and accountability. The collected data is lying somewhere. It's some companies, private companies or public companies or government institutions. They should be accountable to the collected data. Accountable means for use, accountable for not to be misused. And that whatever process happens in the data collection should be legitimate. So these are the issues, these are the points, policy pointers for implementing the framework for data collection about individuals or groups or communities. There are a certain number of guidelines are available. One of the popular guidelines, which is considered, accepted and referred in multiple contexts, is Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD. They have released one policy guideline related to privacy issues in 2013. They are referring some of the major points that needs to be incorporated by the online entities, particularly collection limitation. There should be limit to the collection of personal data. There should not be any unlimited way of collecting data. There should be the limit, and any such data should be obtained by the lawful and fair means and with the knowledge of the individual users. So that's one of the guidelines being put up by OECD. The collection should have some sort of limitation. And the data quality. Personal data should be relevant to the purposes. What purpose? Is a search engine or e-commerce site or Gmail or a social media platform or information purpose or entertainment purposes, interaction purpose or work related work. Whatever the data has been collected from the user should be used for the stated purposes only, and the extent these purposes should be accurate, complete, and data needs to be kept up to date. No need to maintain the data for a longer period of time in order to create a bigger profile. And needs to be the purpose of data collection, data retrieval about an individual should be stated clearly. The purpose for which the personal data is collected should be specified. The use should be limited to those purposes only, not beyond that stated purposes. These are some of the guidelines. And then personal data should not be disclosed or made available or used for other purposes, because it's a very sensitive information about individuals, and the personal data should be protected by reasonable security safeguards. The data collection about individuals should be controlled by openness level, makes it open to the transparent level, and the method, practices and policy related to the personal data needs to be revealed appropriately. And individual participation. Individuals should have the right to obtain the information about their personal data held by others, and have, if they want to edit it, they want to erase it, rectify it, complete it, amend it, that kind of facility needs to be provided. And accountable. Those who are collecting personal data should be accountable for complying with these principles. These are the main guidelines about limitation of collecting personal data and using the data for stated purposes only, and with accountability and using the transparency, openness, and ability for the individuals to participate, correct, delete or update their personal data. But what are the challenges these are quite easy to implement that, but that's not that easy because the medium is not confined to one particular national geographical boundary, going across the different countries, and person A might be accessing the site which comes from the different sites, different countries, and data comes from one individual collected by one website might be stored in a third country. So, these are the challenges because the medium is a global reach, and data what needs to be collected is a personal data. Very difficult to define what is the personal data here. Is it age or gender, and number of times visit, how many times you are visiting, which mobile we are using, and beyond that. And personal data is a very fluid concept. Who will define that? This is a personal and this is professional, this is a public matters. So, this is a kind of issue with defining personal data, the term personal data, and the different legal data protection requirements. As I was telling that medium is a geographically not controlled within a particular geographical area, and different countries are involved, and different countries are having a different set of policy framework or privacy issue law and regulations for regarding the privacy issues. There is a not unanimous level, the multiple divergent variety of requirements, regulating bodies. And there is a challenge when the privacy issue or protecting the privacy issue goes beyond the borders, and particularly and how far individuals consent, because most of the time we used to tend to accept the terms and conditions of any service provider. How far that consent and the agreement of the individual users goes, that is a stated goal. The openness and transparency is required. These are the challenges, particularly the legal requirements, and that's quite wide variety of frameworks are existing from country to country. And secondly, the privacy matter goes beyond the border. So, that is a challenging area in implementing privacy issues. So, these are the main matter, and individuals while interacting with computing devices and mobile devices should have a kind of fair understanding about how far what sort of information we are revealing, because when the social media platform or in a public platform knowingly or unknowingly will reveal the pictures with the background, or we may reveal the locations, sometimes the contact details, email IDs, family members, locations, different set of informations. There is a possibility that may information we might be sharing the data for some other purpose, but that can be interpreted, can be much more information, much more data can be extracted from your information. So, the individual users, the interaction with the medium has to be, they have to empower a little more. Medium is providing a space, medium is providing opportunities, and equally the individual users should know all the issues and all the issues about privacy matters and how far they can interact, and the interaction should be more in a reasonable, understandable way. So, that is one, the government can regulate, companies can be put in guidelines. The thirdly, the individual users should have kind of understanding about all these privacy issues. Thank you.